hard is hard. Oh, it is a very emotional roller coaster today. I legit, I cannot express, dude. From the bottom of my heart, dude. Honestly. Honestly, guys, thank you so much. I cannot express how fucking grateful and how bloody, like, I love you guys. Honestly, you guys have given me absolutely just, you guys have given me everything. This has been the best, honestly, the best 3 years of my life. Honestly, I cannot express that enough, dude. Like, you guys have been absolutely just, you guys have been spot on, dude. And
Despite being near, what, 4 years ago, it feels like it was an eternity ago. Really, like 10 years almost. Maybe it's because no one's talked about it since Mixer's closing. And I think it kind of makes sense really in concept, but we'll get to that in a minute. If you don't know what Mixer is, I'm kind of surprised. But I'm glad you're here. But Mixer's been here since, was there since 2016 to 2020? And even then it was supported by Microsoft and Xbox since it was under Microsoft's name. Which was a benefit and a downside since they have a tendency to just kind of drop projects. Look at Zune and look at Windows OS for that. Most know them by just Ninja and Shroud, which, yeah, that's for about 90% of people actually refer to Mixer from, since for the most part most people know just those two and nobody else. Even though there's a lot of people that are still here now that are part of now Twitch and now Kick. Speaking of which, I should be playing, what is his name? Covent? I thought it was Covenant, but it's Covent. He's a pretty good streamer, and since the collapse of Mixer, he's actually been honestly popping off with his streams, doing it damn near every day, maybe 4 or 5 times a week. Really recommend him, but obviously everyone else on the stream I do recommend. I will link all of them separately since they all deserve their credits. So yeah. Also the fact that, well, if I do that one at a time each and every, that lowers the chance people actually are going to come to them. So I'm just going to link them all at the end and put timestamps of where they are. So that's why there's videos of other streamers above me. They're streaming up in front of you right now, but to me they're streaming right above. Like the clip I showed earlier, Mixer's not around anymore. Despite them trying to pick up Shroud and Ninja, which they did, it didn't really work out, obviously. I think part of that is mainly on a theory I've been working on, but the theory runs by, yeah, you get Shroud and you get Ninja, but outside of that, who's gonna come over to Mixer from an outside standpoint? Yeah, maybe Xbox users, but that would be if people were curious enough and didn't really have anywhere else to stream at that point in time, because most people at the time just knew about Twitch and not really Mixer. And again, just to clarify for the people in the back, I am not shitting on the previous Mixer streamers. No, they're great. Actually, some of my favorites. The reason why I still watch streamers to this day. But when it comes to the streamers, for the most part, outside of those two earlier, most people wouldn't move over from Twitch to Mixer, and that's probably just because of their advertising. Not the streamers' advertising. I'm talking Mixer's advertising as a whole. Since for the most part, even Kick, which if you're referencing it now, they get advertisement from people outside the community, from people either A, shitting on them, or people giving a quote-unquote bad reputation, which same goes for Rumble to a lesser degree, but that's a story for a later time, which we'll cover at Rumble later. But for the most part, a lot of them still get traction, and once you come over to Rumble just to see what it is, since people obviously like it and you get the better split, hey, you get actually a more wide variety of people than you would from an outside perspective, like how Mixer did it. Since, yeah, you brought attractive people over, but you didn't actually capitalize on it the proper way, at least. Which brings up a question which is kind of interesting in hindsight. Why does Kick and Rumble work, or at least still go on without any much issue, yet Mixer didn't? Some people would say, oh yeah, Microsoft didn't care enough to put enough effort into it. but it can be debated that Amazon doesn't even do that for Twitch. Granted, it's a very interesting debate, but that's not really the point I'm getting at here. I think it's also just the attraction from viewers, since, yeah, you brought in people from Ninja, from Shroud, but who else? Kick, for example, actually just drops their stake in it, since if they get a bigger stake, more people are willing to come over, especially from other sites. So you get a more wide variety from people from the bottom and the top, rather than just, oh yeah, you get people from the top and they just end up having a top heavy effect, which will make it very hierarchical, which is not ideal for anyone. But while I'm talking about Mixer, since let's be honest, no one's gonna talk about Mixer for another 2, maybe 3 years, since that's just how it works for some reason with retrospective people. Let's talk about the creators that left quote unquote Mixer. If memory serves me correctly, there was 2 options originally with leaving Mixer. Either A, you stayed and it became Facebook Gaming. Fun fact, I'm never gonna cover Facebook Gaming because, one, whoever's on Facebook Gaming, you get at max 20 viewers. I'm not joking. I would show a bit of that actually, but that's besides the point. It was either that or go over to Twitch, which is, yeah, betrayal, but at that point you didn't have any options because keep in mind, this is about several years before the speed era came up and actually made YouTube streamers look legitimate by comparison. So for the most part, if you went over to YouTube and stream, no one would notice for about another 2-3 years at best, and that's if you get noticed. To this day, there's people streaming on there with about 30-40 viewers, which is not bad, but not the same level. But I'm getting off topic a bit. Point is, for the most part, about 90% of people went over to Twitch after, which worked out for some, didn't work out for others because people had schedules and just at this point moved on with their lives, since it's about 4 years later. So everyone that was on Mixer, I can't find accurate data of them. I just have some people, which is why there's only 4 people here instead of having a dedicated compilation on everyone, which I would do my due diligence to do, but I think that's best saved for a later time where I can actually have more people to watch. I'm maybe getting off topic again, but let's just go over a few that I do know of. Firstly, Arcanaut, which Arcanaut was one of my favorite streamers at that point in time. Keep in mind, this was about 2020. My views haven't changed on him. He's still a cool guy to be around, but he's since quote unquote pseudo-retired. I say pseudo-retired because he still streams to this day, which is how I got the clip that I'm showing you now. But to be fair, he's not really streaming as much, which he only streams on about Fridays, Thursdays. I might correct that in the description, but obviously I'll link it regardless. But he's still doing well, still likable. I have heard he is a manager of some Twitch streamers, maybe some Twitch streamers, maybe some Kick streamers. I just know he's a manager of some people, maybe just because of how good he was when he was super active. It's kind of ironic in a sense, knowing what we know now, but life happens. So who else? There's Forrest Dump as well, which is on Kick now, so that's interesting. He's doing pretty good for himself, which he has a wife. He's still streaming. He's still having fun with, for the most part, to my knowledge, with Fortnite. But to be fair, he can stream wherever he wants, since he is relatively a big Kick streamer, even being verified to my knowledge. So good for him. I can't really complain about him personally. I could go on and on about people like Sheriff Strafe, which is also streaming on Twitch currently, Soapy, and a few others, but I'm going to keep this short because obviously I don't want to waste your time and make it over 10 minutes. I'm not one of those people. So yeah, if you feel like actually seeing one of those streamers, I'm going to link them up below. But what do we learn? What do we learn from Mixer out of all this? Firstly, on the creators end, don't put all your eggs in one basket. I'm saying this from a YouTube, Twitch, and Kick perspective, and even Rumble, but we're going to go back to Rumble eventually, not in this video, but eventually. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. It's just not how that should work. And if something bad happens, like a collapse in this case, you'd immediately be caught with your pants between your legs, which is not ideal for anyone, obviously. From a growth perspective, from the content creators, the viewers, and the site itself, learn to make make your viewership either not top heavy, but quite the opposite, more of growth heavy, where you have people actually going outwards, picking up people from not only just the site you're on, but other sites as well. I know some people have done this. I know a lot of the streamers have picked up YouTube careers as well, to some degree, not the fullest degree, but some. Yeah, and they have picked up audiences from other places, which is good because that actually does help audience retention and makes a good fair balance outside of just the site you're streaming on. If that doesn't work, I really do recommend raids. Raids help you have an actual web of people around you. You look much better with them supporting you as well. That's how some of the streamers I'll get to next video actually kind of operate, but that's for a later time. Yeah, I made this run on for too long, but this has been your host Baron, and if you want to support me, I'm on Odyssey. Despite this channel existing, this is more of the secondary channel for Odyssey, so having it on Odyssey is probably the first priority, with YouTube being the second. But overall, I'll still support both, so do as you please. Anyway, Baron out.